everybody, good morning and welcome to this beginner's session where what I'm going to do today is go through the weekly free instant tournament that BBO holds. Now I know a lot of newer players are a little bit daunted by playing the tournament because of the fact that you are playing with the bridge-based robots and they might play a bit of a different system to you. But don't worry, what I'm going to do is show you how they differ and basically how you can get around it so that you can play the weekly free instant tournament and then you can have a look through the videos that we do on it. So let's get straight into it. Now, first of all, you're going to need to go to bridgebase.com, just your normal BBO screen, and click on the login or register button, and that's going to bring up your main BBO page. Now, simply log in if you do already have a username. If you don't, you just need to click on become a member, and that'll go through the prompts of how you get started. You will need to go through and do some email verification, but it's all pretty easy. Then what we need to do is we need to log in. I like to remember my password because if I ever forget it, it's already just stored there for me. So once we're logged in, it's nice and easy to get to. And what we need to do is start on Solitaire, and then we want to look for weekly free instant tournament. Now it resets every Friday in US time, which will mean that it's Saturday in Australian time. Now typically Pete plays the tournament on Tuesday afternoon Australian time. Now what happens with the free instant tournament is you get put in the south seat automatically and you're playing with a robot and you're playing against two robots. Now the robots are kind of crazy, but we'll get into how they're kind of crazy. The one thing you also know, you're always going to have the best hand at the table. So you've always got the most high card points. Also, if your North partner does become the declarer, you swap spots with them. So you always get to play the contract. So let's see how we go. So on this one, to start off with, what do I have? I've got 15 high card points by the looks of things. Now, I know a lot of people might have been taught that you don't open a no trump with a 5-card major, and if you don't, what you'd do is you'd open one spade with this one. Personally, I do like to open a no trump with a 5-card major. Now, the reason for that is that what ends up happening if I open a spade, I've got a really tough problem when it comes to my rebid. Imagine if, say, partner bid one no trump. What am I going to bid the next time? If I bid two no trumps, we could be playing in two no trumps with only sort of, I don't know, 21 points. If I pass, that's not a bad option because we won't be too close to game. Partner could have 9, or if you're playing 2 over 1, 10 or 11, but we're not going to have too many together. But you're in a bit of a bind. The worst one is when partner then, say for instance, bids 2 clubs or something like that. And if you were to bid 2 no trumps, it'd show your partner that you had 11 to 14 points. So I like including a 5-card major in my 1 no trump opening, but a lot of people don't. Now, one thing that happens with the robots, they do play funny system. What you can always do though is you can highlight over their bid and it'll tell you what they're trying to say. So what it means is my partner here is trying to do minor suits Damon. So they're telling me they've got 4 clubs and they've got 4 diamonds and they've got less than 11 high card points with 10 to 12 total points. Now what this means is we have to be going to game, and I can work that out. That's because I've shown 15 to 17 and my partner's got at least 10. The next thing I'm meant to do is I'm meant to bid a minor suit if I have it. So if I hover over my bid, it also tells me what my bid would be. So here, if I bid 3 clubs, it would be telling my partner I've got 4 or 5 clubs. I might have diamonds, but not necessarily, and still that I'm 15 to 17 points. Now this is great because what you can do is you can hover over your bids to figure out what they would mean. Now I'm actually really fortunate here. I didn't know they did this, but what I can do is actually bid 3 spades, which promises 4 or 5 spades in their system. So I'm going to do that. And they've just bid 3 no trumps, which is basically saying they want to play there. So I'm just going to play 3 no trumps, pretty happy being here. We have given a lot of information away to the opponents because they do know that my partner has a bunch of diamonds and clubs. Alright, so in no trumps, our first job, we're going to have to count the tricks. And these are the ones I can take home right now. If you haven't already had a look at it, Reboot Your Bridge, our new short course through our website BridgeVid, is a great thing at getting you to plan the play in a suit contract, and we're about to start no trumps this Friday. So let's have a look at it. In spades, I've got my one winner. I've just got the ace. In hearts, I've got the ace and the king. In clubs, I don't have any winners yet, and in diamonds, I've got 2. So 1, 3, 4, 5. Yikes. All right, so I need to get some more winners somewhere. The best spots, excuse me. Sorry, about to sneeze. The best spot's probably going to be in my diamonds or my clubs. Sorry. But first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to duck some spades. Now, interestingly, I have a feeling that the opponents or the robots, I don't quite have their notes here, but they lead 4th highest. Now, this 3 is also giving away quite a bit of information to me, because if they lead 4th highest, what I know is that they can't possibly have a card that's going to be below the 3. And this is because I hold the 2 in my hand. So what it means is that West is going to have 4 spades. I've got 5. My North robot's got 1. And that would leave 3 over with the East robot. So what I want to do is at least hold up until the 3rd round of spades here. And that's so that if East gets in, they can never play a spade over to West. So I just want to play low. I could have actually played the 4 or the 5 here just to basically muddy the waters a little bit. Now, interestingly, West has switched to a heart. Generally, I wouldn't suggest that you do this. Now, the reason here is that basically what you're doing is partners let a spade because they really want to start setting up their long suit. Typically against no trumps, you need a really good reason to switch, and having a look at those hearts in dummy, I don't think East has any good reason to switch. Now, I can just play low here, and the power of my King 10 is going to ensure that I'm now going to get 3 winners out of this heart suit. So they play the Queen, and now I can win the King. One thing I might have actually wanted to have done is unblocked this Jack, and that'd be so I can get an extra entry over to North. That probably would have been a better move to make. And this is because I want to set up their long suit. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to start to work on my diamonds. And I'm just going to play 1 to the ace, and then I might duck 1 and let the opponents win it. And that way I'll get to see sort of how they're breaking. So we'll see how we go here. Okay, now that I've seen an honor, what I want to do is capture that honor so that then I can force out the next one, because I know there's only the Queen left. And so what I can do is use the power of my 10-9 to force that out. And now, interestingly, what I can do here, it seems a little bit weird, but I could actually unblock my Jack of Hearts now, which will mean if the opponents ever start attacking the hearts, they're going to give my partner an entry eventually. And I might actually do that. It's a bit weird, but I might give it a go. So the rationale here is that I'd win the ace, but then partner would get in and get to win the king, 10. Okay, so what are we going to discard? I'm going to start off with a club. Now remember, back to that first thing, what I always wanted to do was I wanted to hold up until the 3rd round of spades here. They've made life nice and easy for me by switching to the ace of clubs, and after they do this, I'm actually going to get the rest of the tricks no matter what they play back. So now what I can do is I can play a spade, and anything that I pitch from dummy is actually basically pitching a winner. So it doesn't matter which one I do. The most important card though is this King of Clubs, which is going to be used as an entry. So now what I can do, just get my winners over here, and then I'll cross over to dummy and win theirs over there. Okay, so I can claim those last couple of tricks. Down the bottom there's a claim button here, and I can say claim making, and hopefully the robots will agree to that. So I scored plus 400 there, and we can take a look at the results. Now, if you have a look at the screen here, what you can do is you can see the past results. Now, for the tournament, you play a total of 8 boards each time, and so we've just played 1, and we'll have a look at it. Hopefully this will all work. Nope, it hasn't. Okay, so what happens is that you've got the past boards that have been played. I'll just make this a bit bigger. And what you can see is how you're doing. So 3 no trumps by South, I made 400 points for making that, and in terms of the master points, I scored 92.9, which is pretty huge for that board. I wouldn't have thought it would have been that good, but I'm not complaining at all. Now, what this means is it scored me against the other four. Basically, you get scored against 50, or you're one of 15 people. So you're getting scored against 14 other people that have played the tournament. Then what it does, it just simply takes you on to the next board. So here I am ready to go with board 2. And I told you at the start, you always have the best hand at the table. Looking at this one, I've definitely got the best hand. So I think I've got 21 high card points, all 4 aces, plus 2 queens and a jack. And I've got some nice 10s to go with it as well. Now, I've got a bit of a tough decision here. I don't particularly want to open it with a 1 club bid. I could, but I don't know. I feel like I want to possibly describe this hand as balanced. I don't necessarily need to, but I feel like I slightly want to. If I do open a club, there is a small possibility that my partner could pass this with less than 6 points, and we would miss a game contract. At the same point, I don't really want to open at 2 clubs a game force opening, because I don't think I'm strong enough. Whenever you open a game force, you have to be willing to play game opposite absolutely nothing in your partner's hand. So I don't know if I really want to do that. If I was to open 2 clubs, my next bid would be 2 no trumps, showing it as 23, 24 points and balanced. I don't really want to have to start introducing my 5 card club suit and potentially play 5 clubs when I should have just been playing no trumps. The other option is 2 no trumps, showing 20 to 22 points and a balanced hand, which is okay as well. I probably prefer describing it. I only had 21. Yeah, 20 to 22 is fine. So I think either 1 club or 2 no trumps. What we might do, we'll do a club. Why not? I think that'd be more the standard thing. Usually you don't have, there we go, I got to play that. So this is basically what we mean. If we have a look at this hand, I don't have a fit with my partner, and so game's not particularly great unless we had a fit. In 1 club, I don't think I'm going to have too many problems. It's going to be trying to figure out basically what if I can make any extra tricks potentially. Now, one thing that happens here is that we've got this situation where you've got 1 really strong hand opposite 1 really weak hand, where I'm always going to be playing out of my hand. So unfortunately, I always have to lead from my hand or the south hand. And this is a bit of a pain. So sometimes what you want to do is you want to pass the ball over to the opponents and get them leading suits for you. If I had to lead suits myself, my favorite suit to lead is going to be spades. So we'll see how it goes, and I really want to count down these trumps. So the best way, I started off with 6 trumps between the 2 hands. That leaves 7 with the opponents, and you count down every time that they play them. So they've only got 5 left now. One thing I might do, I might actually start drawing trumps, and that's because I don't want the opponents to trump any of my potential winners. I've got a couple of options. I could come out the queen or the jack and let them basically win the king now, so I've got total control. I might do that and see how we go. So remember, they've got 5 left. And I'm going to keep hold of these diamonds because they might have to be a stopper later. Okay, so now the opponents only have 3 trumps left. Now this is interesting. I actually quite like the spade switch as long as they're not going to get to ruff any spades later. So I've forced out the queen, and this means I'm going to have at least 2 tricks to win in spades in my hand. And again, I'm just going to get rid of our hearts. So now the opponents only have 1 trump left. And it's, do I want to get that out now or do I want to leave it? I think I'm going to leave it. Now, the other thing, I might even have an entry to the north hand, which is a bit interesting. I'm going to get rid of this one. Now, just trying to think about how I want to plan the play. I've got some worries in the diamonds, but I think what I'm going to do is cash my ace of clubs and then start on the spades, basically. And I have to get rid of those hearts. I'm basically hoping that my opponents might play hearts nicely for me. And I think what I'll do is start off by playing a spade. There we go. So that's gotten rid of the king. So now my 2 spades are good. And at this stage, the opponents come back and they play out a spade. Now, I can choose which hand I win this in. I can overtake with South, or I can let our North player win it. I'm going to let North win it because this is really lucky. I've now got an entry. What this means I can do, I can take the Heart Finesse quite safely now. Okay, beautiful. So that got me an extra trick. And here I know that I'm going to win my 3 aces and also my 7 of clubs, and I'm going to have to give them a club. So I'm going to claim that I'm making 4 more tricks, and they get 1. So 1 club, making 3. So it happens to everybody. And of course, there you go. I got a bad score on the scoreboard test for it. Now, what you can do, so this is having a look at my results over on the right-hand side, is I think you can have a look somehow at what all the other tables did. So up the top here, you can click on other tables. So 1 club plus 2, that was me, I got 17. And we had another person playing 1 club. Let's see how we did. So 3 hearts did well. We basically had a fit in hearts. It wasn't a great one, but 3 hearts was definitely the place to be. Yeah, the people that got to play hearts and do well in hearts, they were the ones that won. Now, most of their auctions, they actually started off with 2 no trumps, which we discussed. So this player started off with 2 no trumps. We'll have a look at the rest of them. Another 2 no trumps, 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 2 no trumps. Yeah, so everyone that got to play 3 hearts started off with 2 no trumps as their opening. Yeah, so that's not a bad description. 20 to 22 balanced. Yeah, it's just calling it balanced with 2 doubletons, which a lot of people don't do. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. Again, I've got a pretty good hand. We know we've got the best hand. This time I definitely fit into a 2 no trump opening. So I've got exactly 20 points and I'm balanced. I don't worry about having the king queen here. Now remember, you can always go and hover over their bids to see what they mean, and they're just playing simple Stayman. East double says that they like clubs. When they say rebiddable, it's a bit of a weird term. It basically says they've got a club suit that they're happy to bid twice. It's a bit weird when you're looking at my hand, isn't it? All right, so let's see what my options would be. If you want to see your options, what you do is you click on the number, and then you simply hover over your suit that you're going to bid. Don't actually click it, or that will be your bid. So it looks like that what we do here is that I simply answer Stayman as I would have initially. Now, let's see what redouble would be. Redouble is that I also have 2 stoppers in clubs, but I don't have a major. Now, as tempted as I am to redouble, because I think 3 clubs would go quite poorly, I don't think I will do that because I probably should still answer my partner's Stayman. I'm really tempted to, though. It's not often you get to see redoubles. You know what? Let's do it. Why not? Okay, so partners bid 3 hearts. All right. So they didn't want to play 3 clubs redoubled. They don't have any clubs themselves. So basically partner here, they'd need clubs to pass. They don't want to pass a redoubled contract that they're playing unless they've also got clubs as well. So now they're just saying they've got 4 hearts and 5+ points. And here I really regret not bidding my spades because we'd be in a much better position. We've got ourselves into quite grey territory here because partners promised 5+ points. We are forcing. I'm basically stuck bidding 3 no trumps when I've now kind of not shown my spades. I actually denied 4 spades when I redoubled. So here we are, we're missing a 4 spade contract. But you know, I'm not actually that concerned about it here. I'm quite happy playing in no trumps. Now, the reason for that is in 4 spades, what they might have been able to do is actually lead a club to the ace and then ruff a club. So, yeah, hopefully 3 no trumps is going to be a better contract. They would have been better getting off to a diamond lead and knocking out my stopper there. Unfortunately for them, they haven't. So what I can do is play low from the dummy here, and I'm going to guarantee myself 4 spade tricks. And that's because I get the finesse against the jack given to me. Okay, so we stop, we make a plan. So in this contract, I need to get my 9 tricks. I've got 4 spade tricks thanks to the lead. I've got 3 definite heart winners, so that brings me up to 7. And then I've got to look for some extra winners. Now the best spot to look for is going to be hearts, because we do have a fit here. Interestingly, if you have a look at the North hand, a lot of people might not have seen this convention before. Why did North actually stamen and then bid hearts when they could have actually transferred and then bid spades? It's a bit of a weird one. It's called the Smolin Convention. So what would have happened here is that North would have bid 3 clubs, and had I bid any major suit, they just would have raised me because they'd know we had a fit. If I had bid 3 diamonds, what they could have actually done was shown that they had 5 hearts then. It's a bit of a weird one, but it's a nice convention. You might encounter some people who play it. It's just another weird one of the things the robots do. Okay, so let's take a look at it. What I want to do is I probably want to set up those hearts. So I'm going to start there. Okay, down came the jack. Now this actually means that my hearts are now all good. So if we recount, what I've got is I've got 4 spade tricks and 5 heart tricks. Now I want to try to look for extra tricks and be greedy. When I look for extra tricks, I think my best spot to look is going to be clubs. And that's because I know East is marked with the ace of clubs basically. What this means is rather than just taking my tricks and going home, I want to try to find a way to get extra tricks. Whenever you're in a contract and you know you can make it, your job should be to look for extra tricks. So what I want to do for my extra tricks is I want to use my entries over to the North hand where I've got the ace of spades, the queen of spades, and also the queen of hearts. I want to use those to lead clubs from the North hand up towards my king, queen in south. What this will mean is that if East wins their ace, I'm going to get my 2 club tricks quite happily. If they don't win the ace, what I'm going to be able to do is put in the king or queen and be really confident that they're going to win. And the reason I'm confident is back to the bidding. East doubled my 3 club bid. So I'll start off doing that. I think I'll use my heart entry first. And it's also really important here, what I've done is I've played the high card from the short holding. So I've gotten rid of my king to unblock my hearts up here. And I can play any of them because they're all worth the same. And he started to pitch his clubs. All right, now I wanted to use those entries to lead spades up, clubs up. Let's do it. Okay, so they've won the ace. This is actually going to give me extra tricks now. Now, the reason it's going to give me extra tricks, he's just knocked out my queen of clubs. But what they haven't done is knocked out my last stopper. What this means is I can actually, it's not going to make any difference at all. What I can do is I'm going to be able to score out of the last remaining tricks. I've got, if we look at the dummy's hand, the 3 spades to win, the 2 hearts to win, and also my king of clubs. Alternatively, I could knock out the ace of diamonds as well. So another thing you might want to do here, this is a little bit sneaky. Again, I've still got lots of entries left. What I might do is actually try to sneak a diamond trick up to my king, and we'll see if that works. Because if the opponents duck this, nah, they didn't. Okay, now I've definitely got all the tricks, so I'm going to claim there. I don't want to concede all the tricks. Why am I conceding? Okay, that's weird. All right. Now will it let me claim? All right, yes, it's gonna let me claim now. Making +2. Okay, so we're back on the good scores. So we're back at 96.4% for that one. Let's see what everybody else was doing. Okay, so lots of people in 4 spades +1 or 4 spades making. And you can see on the board that what does end up happening is that they do get that club ruff. Which ended up happening because West can lead a small club across to the ace, and they can get their ruff, and then they've also got some problems when trumps don't break nicely. You've got some problems working that out. So someone ended up even going off in 4 spades. Okay, so a good score there, playing no trumps. We'll see what the auction was at the other table that ended up in no trumps. They actually had the exact same auction. Now the people who ended up in spades, they actually bid their spades to start off with, which was what I regretted, but you know what, on the scoreboard test, evidently I shouldn't. Okay, so East started off with one spade. And this is one of those, I guess, situations where it's really interesting to know the format of the game. So here, remember, we're playing the free tournament, which has we've got the best hand at the table. I've only got 13 points, and I know that's the best hand at the table. So what it means is, I wouldn't know this at a real bridge table, but I know that East only has 12 or 13 points. They can have an equally good hand. Even still, I'm going to double. Oh wow, partner could bid 3 hearts. Okay, so they've got 6 to 12 total points. I'm just going to pass it there. I'm just basically a minimum for my double. A good thing that happens is that they do switch your seats, so I'm now declarer. Some people might not like doubling with only 3 cards in the other major. I don't mind it too much. Generally, if basically your partner will hopefully have 5 if they do have to bid to the 3 level or the 4 level. Occasionally you end up with incidents like this where you do get to something like 3 hearts in just a 4-2 fit. That being said, it looks like the opponents have quite a few spades, so I'm surprised they didn't compete to 3 spades. So let's see how it goes. One other thing, I actually would have quite liked it if my partner had actually doubled 2 spades. I think they should be able to make a takeout double as well, rather than bidding 3 hearts. So they've started off on spades. Now they've switched to a diamond. Okay, so what I can do now, let's see what happens. Can win that. And a good thing to do a lot of the time is draw trumps when basically you don't have good trumps. I do have a slight worry here that I might lose trump control on the hand, and that's if the opponents can get in and basically keep attacking spades. So what do I want to do? I've also got a finesse that I do want to take in clubs. I'd also be able to sort of do some masterminding on the points on this one. So partner's got 7 points, and I myself had 13. That's a total of 20. And I know East only has 12 or 13, and this is only because of the format of the game. If we were playing real bridge, you wouldn't know that. So what it means is that our West player is going to have about 8 or so points. Now, I don't know what the robot's lead agreements are, because the robot led the king of spades at trick 1. I assume that they're going to overlead, but they might not. So it'll be interesting to know what's going on there. Now, I could attack hearts. I think I probably should do that, because I'm going to start to worry about roughs in something like diamonds. The other thing I could do is just take a club finesse now. The last sort of thing, I could play a spade and just hand it over to the opponents and see what they do. What I think I might do, let's take a club finesse while we're in the right hand. And this is kind of risky because what I am doing is I am opening myself up to club roughs as well. Okay, so West has now played another diamond, and my ace has now got knocked off. Probably would have been a good idea to actually have just played low from north in case that was going to happen. One reason I didn't think it'd be likely that it was a singleton switch from East is they didn't actually lead a diamond to start with. And secondly, they also didn't compete to a 3 spade contract, which a lot of people would have done. Okay, at this point I can win with the 10 of clubs, I know that, which is quite good. And now I'm suffering lots of roughs. Okay, so I definitely should have drawn trumps here. Alright, and I know that the lowest... Okay, so I know now it's even worse than expected. Okay, the reason it's worse than expected is that West is the one with the ace, and East is now out. So this is turning into an absolute disaster. There's not really too much I can do here. Just trying to think what's going to happen. So I know that basically I'm just going to play a heart and lose 2 heart tricks. Yeah, absolute disaster. Discard some aces. I forgot about that extra trump. This isn't good. It's turning out even worse. I should have just played clubs there and forced them. So I'm going 1 extra off than what I should have. So this is turning into a disaster. Good news, I think the opponents called for 4 spades. So let's see how it went. I only got 7%, so evidently not. So ups and downs here for this one. So let's see what everybody else was doing. So lots of people in 3 hearts. If I had only gone down 5, it wouldn't have been nearly as bad. So that's what I get for not counting trumps correctly. Lots of people are stopping in 2 spades plus 3. Now, I think that people should have been able to get to 4 spades, which very comfortably makes, and I'm not too sure why they didn't. So let's see how the auctions go. 1 club plus 1 spade plus 2 clubs, 2 spades. I don't think that's quite how I'd want my auction to go. So 10 to 12 points, and then they've promised 3 or more spades. So with the East hand, East here has only 11 points, but they do have a singleton. So once my West player promised me that they had sort of 10 to 12, I would be looking for game in spades, and especially that they've got the fit. So I find it very weird that my East player didn't compete to 3 spades, and also that basically nobody got to 4 spades. If people were getting to 4 spades, which I think is a really normal contract and people would get to in real life, I actually would have scored a good board on that one. Oh well, bit of a shame. Okay, on to our next one. So pass a heart, and again I've got the best hand at the table in terms of points. So what have I got here? I've got 15 points and I've got some lovely clubs. What are we going to do with this one? I'm going to start off with just 2 clubs and see what happens. There's no reason to really do anything else. What I can do is stop and have a look at what ends up happening. Now, East has here made a 3 diamond bid, which is showing 16 to 18 total points and forcing. Interesting. So what do I want to do here? Do I want to sell out at this stage, or do I want to keep on going? They've definitely agreed hearts, so they're going to play in hearts, and it's just going to be basically what I do from here. Do I want to bid 4 clubs or not? I've got 7 clubs, and they are gorgeous, but I am vulnerable against not. I don't mind pass on this one. My Queen of Spades isn't very good. I also know partners probably marked with quite a few spades because the opponents haven't really bid them, but they did find a fit. Let's see, I'm going to be on lead to hearts. If I did bid 4 clubs, it'd mostly be taking up room in their auction. I think I might just pass. Okay, that's interesting. So they've decided to stop in 3 hearts. And what do I want to do now to 3 hearts? Do I want to compete or not? So here what I know is that they've stopped in 3, so it means that partner is marked with something. And I could bid on, or I could potentially just pass it. Again, it's a vulnerable against not decision. Let's see, what would I need from partner? If partner's got 1 trick for me, and I can bring it home for 9 tricks, I actually get a better score than them going down in 3 hearts. Making 3 hearts. I don't think I'm likely to get doubled if I bid 4 clubs. One thing I might do is push them into game if someone does have a singleton. Yeah, I think I probably would just pass. I don't really want to push them into game with something like this, which might even make. So let's see how we go. We've let out the ace. Okay, I have no idea what my partner's signals are. Never know these things with robots. And I've got to figure out what to do here. Now, I could lead a heart to stop them from roughing clubs, but that's also going to finesse anything in my partner's hand. What I might do is actually just come out the Queen of Clubs, and who knows, if partner can get in with the Ace of Hearts or something and give me a rough, I'd be quite happy. Okay, so they don't have that. Okay, and they're probably going to play a club and rough it. No, they've got no need to do that. That's interesting. And it looks like I've set up their spades for them. Although partner's got the king. Okay, at this point I just want to keep coming out my clubs. And so they had a singleton as well. That's not so good. All right, pitch off my clubs, and I don't think I even score my diamond trick. Nope. So I did make 10. Glad I didn't bid, or you never know, they might have got into game. So I only scored 32%. Let's see what happened at the other tables. We don't want to look at board 4, we want to look at board 5. I want to forget about board 4. So at the other tables, lots of 3 hearts making, lots of 4 hearts down 1. Now 4 hearts down 1, how did they manage that? They didn't get their spades going. So on this one, it's really important that what our opponents want to do is they want to get their spades going. I wonder if I don't switch to the Queen of Spades, how that goes. If I switch to a heart, it feels like it should be the same. I don't know why people were going off. 5 clubs doubled down 2, not a pretty sight, so glad we didn't bid there. All right, on to board 6, and we'll see how this one goes. Again, an opening by East. This seems to be the standard approach. East opens and I have to make a decision. All right, so what I've got this time is 21 points and balanced. Now, I don't bid 1 no trump in this situation. What I do first is I double, and then I bid no trumps later. So I know partner's got sort of about 0 to 8, or they say, yeah, 9 or less. Now what I do is I bid 2 no trumps, and this will show my partner that I've got something in the range of, they call it 19 to 21 points, and a stopper in hearts. And partner's just put me into 3 no trumps. Nice place to be. Okay, so let's start to think about it. What I know from the bidding is the distribution of the hearts. They're probably going to be 5, 4, 2, 2. Alternatively, West could be leading a singleton heart as well. Now, from the points, what did I say I had? I think I've got about 21 and partner's got 6. So that means that the opponents, what have we got? 27. The opponents have 13. So West doesn't have basically anything. Now, I've got some problems here. I do know that East is basically marked with everything, and I do have some issues regarding basically getting my tricks in diamonds. Ideally, I want to make lots and lots of diamond tricks, but I might have some entry problems. Now, luckily, I might have a sneaky entry in clubs. Let's see how we go. So we'll start off playing our hearts. And I'm pretty tempted to actually duck this one. Oh, do I want to? Okay, so what I've basically got here is I'm going to have a triple stopper basically in the hearts. And this is because I can win the ace now. And then what I can do is when they play hearts again, I can then basically win, let them win the king, but then I can end up finessing the 10. Now the question is, do I want to win this trick, or do I want to let the opponents hold it? Now I have a little bit of a risk here that if the opponents do win this trick and switch to a spade, I might have some problems. I know that the ace is going to be in East because West doesn't have enough points, but is that going to be too much of a problem for me if my diamonds don't break nicely? I think it might be. So I'm actually going to win this one. And I'm going to start on my diamonds and see what ends up happening. Okay, so I've seen the 10. And they've only got 2 more. And now what am I going to pitch? I'm going to end up with some problems potentially here. I can abandon it and only have 1 heart stopper, or I can abandon clubs as well. I think I might abandon clubs, and I'm actually going to pitch the jack, and that's because I can see that all my clubs are basically worth the same. Okay, so I know that East here is going to have also have the last remaining diamond. Now, do I want to knock that out at this stage or do something else? I think I might do something else here. I have a feeling I should have actually discarded a heart there, and that'd be because I want to guarantee having an entry to my club suit. So let's see how we go. What do I want to be able to do here? I definitely should have pitched a heart. So at this stage, I want to be able to play, I might play a spade up and see how that goes. All right, now at this stage, I'm basically getting myself into some problems here. I have a feeling I'm going to get myself end played. Good news, I get to make my contract. I think I probably could have done better though. So at this stage, I get to win basically all the tricks, and except for one. I'm kind of hoping that there's a doubleton Queen of Clubs over with East, and if that's the case, I'll get to win the rest. I definitely get to make 3, but I don't think I'll get to make 4. But you never know. Nope, it was over with West all the time. Okay, so I got to score my 400. I think I probably could have made an over trick. One thing that I did do was, once I discovered that my diamonds didn't break, I actually converted to then playing on the spades, and that was because I know that I've got to do something with this entry. If I discarded a heart earlier, I might have had better choices, but that runs some risk there as well. So yeah, sometimes what you need to do is start on one plan, and then if that doesn't work, convert to another plan. So we'll see how this one goes. And I'm dealer, and I've got 13 points. So I'm just going to start off with 1 club here. And partners bid 1 no trump, which they play 6 to 10 points. So I just simply want to pass that. I know partner doesn't have hearts or spades. Here they skipped over diamonds. Not everybody would do that, but some people would. So let's see how we go. They've switched my seat around so that I can be declarer. So I've started off with the Queen of Diamonds. I'm actually not going to play the King on this, because what I can do is hold that King up till later. There's no real need. Oh, sorry, they've led from East. Good point, they've switched us around. Okay, and again, what I might do, I could win this one here. Actually, I probably should, because I'm a bit worried about the heart switch. So what I might do is win this one, and I probably should have counted my tricks already. So I've got 1 diamond trick, I've got 2 club tricks to bring me to 4, and I've got 2 spade tricks to bring me to 6. I've got a couple of different options for my 7th trick. Now the first one is the obvious club finesse, but the second one's a little bit tricky to see. What it is it's if I can get myself an extra trick in spades. And the way that I'd do that is I'd actually duck a spade the first time, and then I'd basically play spades and hope that they break 3-3. And if they did, I'd actually get myself an extra trick. Now, I'd ideally like to do that and then see how they break and then decide from there. The only problem with this strategy though is that I might find myself ending up basically losing 7 tricks before I can win 7 tricks. So what I might do, because the club finesse has a possibility of getting the extra trick before losing one, is I might try that first. It's a bit of a risk, but we'll see how we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to straight away play a club over to the ace and take that finesse. Now I've seen the 10. I don't know what signals the opponents play. Okay, the other fallback I've got is that our clubs break 3-3, which they don't. Okay, that gives us a big problem, doesn't it? Looks like it would have been better playing on spades. Now, at this stage, I could duck my spade. I'm going to have a bit of a problem here, though. Imagine if, say, the diamonds broke, let's see, 4-4-3-2. At this stage, they'd get to win potentially 4 diamond tricks and also some heart tricks. Just seeing if ducking a spade can actually end up worse for me. And it probably can. So I'm actually just going to cash out here and basically end up just winning 6 tricks. And for my knowledge, let's see how they broke. So the spades did break 3-3. It would have been a much nicer move to have actually basically come out a spade and tried to set up a spade that way. I'm going to cover that 8, and I don't think I can win any extra trick anyway, but we'll see if the opponents do something silly. Haha, there we go. Ah, did I miscount my tricks? I thought I had 6 to start with, but apparently I only just won my 6th. Okay, so 1 down and 1 no trump. That won't be a good score, I don't think. Oh, there you go. We got 71. Let's see what everybody else did. So someone got to make it, and some people went down 2. So a big spread of the scores there. Shows you just how different 1 or 2 tricks can be. Where if you get that trick to make, you get 100%, and going down 1's worth 71 compared to 25% if you go down 2 tricks. Okay, so let's get on to this one. Wow, this gives me a problem. Okay, board 8. Wow. Here we have partners preempted 4 hearts. Now, I don't know what my partner's preempting style is. Less than 11.7 plus hearts. Now, typically, if you play the sort of really solid preempt style where your partner's got 2 of the top 3 or 3 of the top 5 honors, you can start to basically make your plan around that. Now, here I don't think slam's going to be too far off, and what I like to do when I picture if slam's going to make or not is I like to count basically where the tricks would be. So if I pretend that my partner's got 8 heart tricks they can win, and this is knowing my king's going to be useful for them, can I get them up to 12 tricks? So if we can win 8 heart tricks, and then we've got 9, 10, 11, and we're going to be able to set up a spade trick for 12. But there's a couple of problems that come in here. The opponents might be able to set up a diamond trick for themselves, and they've also got basically the ace of spades we know that they can win. So do I want to move on this hand or don't I? And it's a really, really tough decision to make. I might ask for key cards. I don't really like aggressively looking for slam once my partner's preempted, but we'll give it a go. Why not? What have they shown me? Avoid in diamonds. Oh, good. Just what I always wanted. Definitely didn't want them to have avoid in diamonds, but it could still be useful for them. So I guess we're playing 6 hearts and see how we go. Okay, so really good contract here. Partner doesn't have the ace of hearts, but that's the only card that we are going to be missing. They've actually got an extra winner with the ace of diamonds. So, oh, they did switch me. I forgot about that. So my first priority here is going to be drawing trumps, and I also want to keep as many entries that I can to the north hand. So I want to win this one over here in south. And straight away come out the king of hearts. Now my only fear is if they can actually ruff a club, and fortunately they didn't lead one back. So I want to win in the north hand and draw trumps straight away because I'm worried about that. Basically someone's going to be able to ruff a diamond. Club, sorry. Alright, so we get all those trumps out and we're going to be fine from this stage. We've got the king of queen of spades to win and also the king queen of clubs. So I'm going to claim that. And that'll probably get me a good score for that one. I don't think everyone will be moving. Oh no, bad score. It got me less than 50%. So what happens at the end of it is that it does bring you to your tournament results and it shows you where you ranked. So here I ended up coming 6th or something out of the 15 that played it. And you can see who you're getting scored against. And it gives you your overall percentage. And it also gives you some points based on your BBO rank, I believe it is. And so you can see basically how you did. And you can click up here to show the boards and all those sorts of things to go through them. I'm personally pretty interested to see what ended up happening on that last board and why I ended up getting a bad score on that one. They've only shown me my score. That must mean that they've now wiped out the scores and mine are out getting compared. Oh no, that's weird. Let's see, other tables. I have no idea why I can't see the other scores on that one. I feel a bit chipped off. I don't know why I got 42% on that one for bidding a slam. Normally you feel like you'll pick up if you win a slam. Okay, so that's basically how we go through the weekly free instant tournament. I'll just give you another quick run through. So from your home screen, once you've logged into BBO, you want to click on Solitaire Bridge, and then you want to click on Weekly Free Instant Tournament. Remember that it does reset every Friday US time or Saturday Australian time. And what happens is it takes you directly to the seat where you'll sit south, and you play 8 boards. As you can see, I can actually play the exact same hand again, so you can play the tournament again. I don't know why you'd want to after you've already done it and you know what's going on, but you could do it again. So you play 8 boards. If partner becomes the declarer, it swaps you so that you'll actually declare the hand, and it brings up your results. Now, if you want to check out what the other tables did, you can click on the other tables tab up the top here and have a look through them. At the end of it, it'll bring up your results and compare you to 14 other players that have played the tournament. Now, what you can also do once you finish the tournament, don't forget that you can hover over the bids to see what the opponent's bids mean. I'll just quickly run through how that would work. So I'd open, let's say, a spade or a no trump. You hover over their bids to show what their bid means. So less than 2 spades, 6 to 11 high card points, and less than 12 total points. When they talk about total points, they include length points as well. If you're wondering about what your bid would mean, what you do is you click on the bid and then you hover over the bid, and it'll tell you what your bid would mean in their code. Unfortunately, it won't be exactly basically the same as what everybody else does, as what you do, but at least you can go through and you can see what it is like. Just got the question of wonder how Pete will go on this one. I think you'll definitely pick up on the board where I didn't open 2 no trumps. I probably would have opened it 2 no trumps, or even maybe 2 clubs and shown it as 23-24 balanced. But I think that'll be, and also the 3 heart board, but I think he'll be in the same horrible 3 heart contract, but only going sort of 4 or 5 down. So I think that's how Pete's going to go. But yeah, the other thing you can do once you finish the tournament, it'll show you how you went, but you can also go to the BridgeVid website, and Pete plays the boards every Tuesday afternoon Australian time. What you can do is you can have a look at how he did, and you don't actually even need to be a member of the website to have a look at that content. And there's a nice quick link down here to click on Weekly Free Tournament, or alternatively, if you're in the video library, what you can do is click on the Weekly Free Tournament here, and it'll bring you to a list of all the past ones, and you'll just need to click on the top one to have a look at the most recent one, and that way you can see how you compared to Pete. So I hope you all enjoyed the weekly free tournament. Could have done a bit better. I'm still concerned about why I only got 42% or nearly 43 on that slam board, but we'll see how Pete goes. So thanks for watching everybody, and we will see you next week.